Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about capitalization, but specifically when we should capitalize family members or job titles. So we're going to talk about family members and job titles. So family members like cousin, aunt, mom, and job titles like doctor, president, or professor. Let's start with family members. So are family members capitalized when we use them in writing? The answer is yes and no. So in some cases, we capitalize words like mom, and in other cases, we do not. So in this video, we'll go over in what situations you should capitalize family members. The first situation when you should capitalize family members is if it's replaceable with someone else's name. For example, I asked mom to pick me up. Here, if I just replace the word mom with Mary, I asked Mary to pick me up. It still makes sense. Second example says, last week grandma visited me at work. Again, if I just replace grandma with John, last week John visited me at work, it still makes perfect sense. So in these situations, you have to capitalize the family members. Now this rule is related to the one we just discussed. It says when using a possessive adjective. Possessive adjectives are words like her, his, my, our, its. You get the point. So I hope you can read that. So when using a possessive adjective in front of the family member, like my mom, right? Do not capitalize. For example, I asked my dad to pick me up. Here I see my possessive adjective, therefore my dad cannot be a capital D, it has to be a lowercase d. Or when you don't have possessive adjectives, like the next example, I asked dad to pick me up, then you would capitalize it. And it's exactly the same as if I had said, I asked John to pick me up, right? It's replaceable with another name, then we capitalize the family member. Here's another example. Number 1 says, for Christmas, mom and dad will visit us. We capitalize mom and dad here. Number 2, we are going on a trip with our mom and dad. Here is my possessive adjective, therefore mom and dad are not capitalized. Another situation when we should capitalize family members is when a name comes after the family member's title. For example, Uncle Tim, then you gotta capitalize the U and the T, of course. And Aunt Sarah, in this situation, because Sarah came right after the word aunt, we have to capitalize A. Let's take a look at these examples. Number 1 says, we asked Aunt Sally to make her famous desserts. Again, Sally comes after the word aunt, therefore I have to capitalize the A. Number 2 says, my aunt is going to make her famous desserts. Here, no name comes after the word aunt, therefore I do not capitalize it and we're going to keep the lowercase letter. Now let's move on from family members to job titles, like doctor, professor, president, governor. These are all generally common nouns, so they're not capitalized. However, we do capitalize it if it is followed by a name, just like uncle and aunts, right? So, for example, Dr. Johnson, we capitalize the D, Professor X, or President Clinton. Now let's compare the 3 pairs of sentences. We'll go from left to right. Number 1 says, our teacher asked us to write about our favorite president. Here, I do not capitalize the word president. However, on the right, it says, I wrote about President Lincoln. Here, I do capitalize it because a name came after this word. Number 2 says, I like my professor, but he is a tough grader. Here, again, it's not capitalized. On the right side, it says, I like Professor Johnson. She is always willing to help. If it's someone's title, like someone's name, then we'll capitalize the P in professor. Number 3 says, I got to talk to a doctor and nurse about my condition. Lower case is here. And to the right, it says, I met Dr. Lee and Nurse Thomas at a career event. Both of these have names that follow these words, then we're going to capitalize. Before we finish today's lesson, let's do a practice quiz. Please insert the correct version of the word. And please pause this video for more time. Okay, let's go over the answers. Number 1, we love it when Aunt Sally visits us. It's going to be capital A because of the name Sally that comes right after. Number 2, I only invited 2 uncles for the holidays. It's just regular common noun here. Number 3, I was happy to hear that Mom arrived at the airport. So I'm going to capitalize the mom because there is no possessive adjective in front of the word mom. Number 4, I have a lot of respect for my professors, lowercase p. Number 5, Jane decided to take Grandpa with the capital G on a trip. And lastly, I was shocked to see him run for governor. So again, because there's no name that comes after the word governor, it's going to be a lowercase g. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful, and please like this video and subscribe to this channel if you did find it helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will respond as soon as I can. I am posting this on Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you guys have a wonderful time with your family. I'll see you guys next time.